Good morning. How are you? My name is Claudia Testering Campbell. And did you know that two-thirds of women over 45 report experiencing age discrimination at work? And that's a much higher rate than men. This statistic sparks concern, showing that ageism is not necessarily gender neutral, but it disproportionately affects women. And that's what we want to talk about today. How does ageism affect women over 40? So stay tuned and we will get started. Good morning, Gloria. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Great to see you.
Great to see you too, and thank you for joining me this week. Sorry, I'm turning down my phones. Yeah, we have a great discussion, I believe, in my opinion, if I may say so myself, this morning. And it's funny enough what our behind the scenes conversation just before we came on is kind of related. We were talking about before we came on, when we get to our ages, once you hit over 40, especially when you're approaching 60, as I am, what you will and will not do. And one of the things that many of us at our age will not do is put up with BS. And a lot of that BS comes because of our age. So thank you for joining us this morning. And we are going to be talking about ageism, how to combat it. I think I had 5 ways how to combat ageism. Let me show you what we're talking about today. So, first of all, I want to say for us to define what we understand ageism to be. But Gloria, just a quick question before we do that. Have you are you experiencing ageism at this time? Without going into the details, we'll get into the details when we start.
At this point in time, yes, I am.
You are experiencing ageism. And if you don't mind my asking, are you over 45, over 50, approaching 60 like I am? Which one?
I'm 60.
You're 60. Okay. Boy, I tell you, them now make all women like how they used to make all women, because 60 looks fine on you, girl.
I was told recently, I went to the bank last week and the teller said to me, looked at the ID and said, "What age are you?"
One morning we need to have a conversation about women over 40. Well, we did a video. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted. We did a video and about older women and younger people in relationships. I think we need to actually do a live conversation about that. So anyway, folks, thank you for joining us. Welcome. Please take a moment and share this live conversation, as it is one that affects a lot of women. And funny enough, some women don't even realize, they don't have the name for it. They don't understand what is happening. So we want to get into that by defining what is ageism. So you're watching Saturday Morning Conversations with the Daughters of Sheba Foundation. My name is Claudia Testering Campbell, and I am the president and chairperson of the organization. And with me is
Gloria, treasurer of the great Daughters of Sheba.
And thank you all for joining us. So let's get into it, Gloria. My understanding of ageism, as I said, nearly 2/3 of women in the working population say that they have experienced age discrimination, particularly at work. But it's not just at work. But so my understanding of ageism is that it's about the prejudices and the discrimination directed at us, older people, male or female, based on our age, just like how femicide is based on women being unalive because they're women. Ageism is about prejudices and discrimination based on your age. And oftentimes it's in the workplace, but it's also a general societal perception. Do you
Yeah.
have any other take on that, Gloria?
No, no, you're correct. It is definitely discrimination against us because of the age that we're at now, and it affects us, as you said, across the board, generally in all aspects of our lives. You know, you're looked at, and people raise their eyebrows and say, "Oh, okay," you know, you have that special look when you walk in the office, or people turn around and have a look at you. But you know, we just have to be confident in who we are.
Absolutely. So ageism is when it comes to ageism for women, it intersects with sexism, and that's a difficult place to be. And when you're a Black woman or a woman of color, you confront, as I'm experiencing, you confront ageism, you confront genderism, and you confront racism. So it intersects on 3 levels. But generally speaking, ageism and women intersect with sexism. And this creates a very unique burden for women who are often judged by their appearances, our appearances, because we can't have children anymore, our reproductive status, to say you can't breed no more. And therefore your value is diminished because as you age. And it's a very crucial and critical place to be, because it undermines our ability to access employment, career opportunities, to grow in an organization if you've been in an organization for a while.
Healthcare.
Healthcare, absolutely.
I had an issue.
Healthcare, that was the other one I was going to go to. And your social status, because you become invisible almost. You know, I remember 10 years ago even, I could not walk down the street without being hounded, you know, at which time I was still over 40, but I could not walk down the street. Now I could go naked and nobody would see me. You know, it feels almost as if I'm becoming, not almost, I feel invisible. Well, I don't let it bother me, but that's where you are. You've been reduced to this outdated, and it's a stereotype, an outdated stereotype of being invisible, or you're past your prime. You know, that's so awful.
The contrast I have for that though is like, okay, let's look at relationships. If you have a single man who is over 40 and you have a single woman who is over 40, the disparity there is huge, because men are looked at as, oh, you know, they have a term to call them now, silver fox.
Yeah.
You know, they can be the gray beard, you know, just, they're fine because they're now over, they start to get their gray hairs and so on, so they're looking great. But woman on the other hand, if
they're not rocking their gray hair as you are,
because they feel that they have to cover it up because of how society looks at us.
Oh, hold on, folks. My gray hair is covered, but that's because I need to go get my hair done.
The men get a pass on it. It looks great on them, but for some reason, society doesn't think it looks great on us.
No, they don't. They don't. They really don't.
You feel attractive, you know.
And I must say something about the Jamaican community in particular. The Jamaican community is particularly mean to older people, and especially older women. You know, if you watch any social media, Jamaican social media at all, you hear them calling older women grayback. The grayback woman. It's I know, Gloria, you are in your own little bubble and you don't know. Fortunately, there's me. I do not stay in a bubble.
Thank you for
so I keep you informed. so that you know, if you're walking down the street or anywhere in Jamaica and you're called grayback, it's because you're an older woman.
Wow.
And it's really awful. It's extremely disparaging. You know, and I find it particularly awful because the same grayback woman that they're talking about, our older woman, is the same woman they target for their scams and your
Mm,
con games,
mm,
so it's so unfortunate. It's really unkind. So there
mm,
we have it. We have described, we have defined for you what ageism is. Basically, it's prejudice and discrimination directed against people, not just
yeah,
women, directed against, but mainly women,
yeah.
directed against people based on their age. So the second thing we want to cover this morning, we're not wasting time, are some of the common stereotypes and
Mm,
challenges. And by stereotypes, we mean the assumptions people
yeah.
make about you because you're an older person, or you're an
Mm.
older woman, or you're a woman over 40. Are you hearing me okay?
I am hearing you quite well.
Okay. Okay. You're a woman over 40. So one of the first stereotypes I have, Gloria, is that older women, grayback, are often seen as less competent or less technologically savvy. That
Yeah.
is such a myth.
Yes.
Don't you think? I mean,
Yes,
I
yes,
know
yes.
you have your moments.
That's my number one point, actually. You're seen as less competent because you're now old in their eyes. Quotation.
And the funny thing is, you have older women like myself who know the computer, know what to do more than
Mm,
they do, like
mm.
all of this that we do for the most part is me. I'm the
Yeah.
one doing it,
Mhm.
and they just feel that. And let us admit that we do have women, and I do know women like that, Gloria, who
I'm getting better.
I know you are, my darling. You do have women who anything to do with technology, they
Mhm.
shy away from it, and I do say to my sisters,
Mhm.
don't, because that's the way the world is going. We have, if you want to even be in the game, whatever that game might look like for you, you really need to keep up your competency
Yeah.
level in certain things.
Yeah.
Do you have any other, Gloria?
Um, yes. I mean, to comment on that. I mean, yes, I do have challenges with technology, but what I do is, if I don't know, I say I don't know,
Hmm.
and I find someone who will not only help me with it, but is willing to teach me how to solve the problem or overcome the issue or whatever. So the next time, I don't need to ask again. I know what to do.
You know what to
You know,
do.
I don't want to say somebody should do it and then that's it. No.
Can I tell you something that
Mm,
you taught me recently? And this
mm,
was after you spoke with, as you said, you go to somebody to find out
mm,
what to do.
mm,
You said to me, we were talking about YouTube and how to format stuff on YouTube.
mm.
And I was saying that it's on YouTube, the shorts and the vertical
Right.
lives are very popular, and you said that the person, I won't call her name, that you asked about something, they said to you, make sure when you're shooting your videos, it's on 60 UHD or something like that.
Mhm,
And I
mhm.
was like, I don't think I do that. Although I don't, only now I start doing more
Yeah.
vertical stuff.
Yeah.
This one in particular is not vertical. And so when I went to do a promo for the series about my story, The Hidden Struggles of Women, when I turned on the camera, I went and I found it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what a difference it makes. So
It
you
does.
taught me that, and you learned that. That's a
Yeah.
perfect example of
Yeah.
you going to a younger person, or
Yeah.
not necessarily
And
younger, and
I
asking for
then
help.
show me where to find it. What do I do? Whatever, whatever. And yeah. So
Yeah,
that's how we have to help ourselves
yeah, yeah,
and overcome
absolutely.
challenges. Yeah. Another
Absolutely.
thing, and we spoke about being less attractive as well, but another
Yeah.
thing I find is that we feel less relevant. Like, okay, your time is done. That's it. Go on the shelf. Close the door. We feel less relevant.
You're
Um,
canceled.
yeah, that's another thing I found as one of my points.
One of the other things related to that is that
Mhm.
there is pressure for women of any age to have this youthful appearance. You know, there's this promoting of
My point.
anti-aging rather than
Yeah,
embracing aging naturally. So, for
yeah.
example, as another example, I would be looking for women's empowerment stuff, you know,
Mhm.
whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, mainly
Yeah.
on YouTube, and all you see is anti-aging and makeup and so on. And I'm like, that's not what women empowerment is about, you know. Um, so there is this quest for looking young forever and ever and ever. Amen. You know.
But I find it's a societal norm where youth is portrayed as beauty. That's the standard that they have.
Mhm.
Youth is
Mhm.
portrayed as beauty. So if you're not young or youth, whether be a man or a woman, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's you're most handsome, you're most beautiful if you're young. Anywhere after maybe after 35, even as young as after 35, you know, they say you start going downhill. Of course,
Mhm.
that's the
Mhm.
term that you use. You're going downhill, and so those images are not portrayed as beauty anymore.
No, they aren't.
It's not portrayed as beauty anymore, and so you know, I watch a lot of positive imaging
Mhm.
videos. So women,
Mhm.
older women, who how awesome they look, how beautiful they
Oh,
look.
absolutely.
And they are stunning, really stunning. You know, and I shared with my daughter. I said, "Well, what do you think?" And she said, "Yeah, mom, these women are great." You know, but you know, just with that perspective, am I just being biased in what I think? You know, I share.
Because they're that age, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but it's what's out there in on social media in
And I
society.
just have to warn
Mm-hmm.
young people or younger people than us, you're getting here one day. It's coming. The only way you're going to bypass this is if you, for whatever reason, leave this earth. Whether
Right.
you leave it willingly,
Mm,
naturally, unnaturally, that's the only way you're going to bypass getting young. And no matter how much cosmetic surgery or whatever you do, you're going to become not just a woman over 40, you're going to become a woman over 50, a woman over 60. And with that comes sagging skin, drying skin,
yeah.
menopause, what else? Backache, stiff joints, and not looking, you know, and I
But
don't care. I
no
see,
matter what age you are, you can be beautiful. I just don't understand why it is pointed at youth, you know? Why is it, you
yeah,
know, I don't understand that. I mean, older men and women are now stepping up and saying, you know, we are we're not over the hill, but it's taken a lot of effort on their part to
yeah,
point out, and they've had to come together, just like us as a group. They've had to come together to portray that image. You have the men
yeah.
who they have groups of men now who are over 60 or whatever, who they are stepping out as well because they're
Yeah.
realizing,
And
you
you see them on social media, you know, with
know,
their nice beards and stuff,
mm,
and they're modeling
right.
and doing all kinds of things, you know. So let us look at we have touched on
Mhm.
some, but with more details, some of the challenges of ageism that we face, you know. And let's start with workplace discrimination. You know,
Yeah.
have you ever experienced ageism in the workplace, Gloria? I mean, I
Um,
know you've been self-employed for quite a while,
right.
but
Yes. So because of that, I've not really experienced it personally, but I speak to my friends. They have like experience
and what
themselves.
they tell you.
Well, it affects like things like promotions. You know, they'll be overlooked because, of course, people are looking now at how much longer. Well, how much
Pension.
can they get out of you for how much longer? So if you are put in a managerial position, are you going to give me 10 years or 20 years? That's how it's viewed. What
Hmm.
can I get out of you, and for how long can I get it out of you? That's how it's viewed in terms of being promoted in the job. Not are
And
you capable of doing the job? Do you have the qualifications? Yes, you do. Yes, you can. But you're sidestepped for somebody else who is younger because of age.
if for whatever reason you were out of the workforce and trying to enter the workforce after a certain age, forget it.
Mm,
You're not going to enter the workforce at the not necessarily at the level, at least here in Canada and here in Alberta in particular, at the level of your experience. I
mm,
remember um 4 years ago, going for a new job, and when they saw my resume, when they saw who I've worked with in the past, when they see all the things that I've done, and still they offered me chicken feed in comparison to what other. But
Right.
but I was in a situation where I needed to accept it, and that's not true. It wasn't chicken feed, but it wasn't what it was like 25% less than I was
Right.
hoping for. I had to take it because I realized that, hey, you are now over 50 at the time, and it's limited.
Yeah.
Entering the workforce at this age is limited. And as you said, also people at our ages, they're sometimes forced into early retirement to make room for younger
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah.
again, on the Jamaican scene, I have been seeing younger people calling for older people to leave the jobs, which they clearly are not qualified to do.
I saw that
Have you
too. I
seen
saw that.
it?
Yes, I saw that too. I saw that too. They're saying it's their time.
It's their time, and they don't know what to do. They don't have a clue.
their time.
I mean, it's not all about education, but they don't have the education. They don't have the work experience. They don't have the world view. They don't have the savvy. They're not intellectually prepared for it, but they don't care. They just want it. And they just feel that once you've been in a job for 20, 30 years, you need to leave and give it to them.
I'm not against younger persons elevating themselves. I'm not
No.
against that. I know that at some point we will have to step back and allow them to step in. I'm aware of that too. And that's a natural cycle of things. It's a natural cycle, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there is room for everybody, which they don't seem to realize, that there is room and scope for everybody up to a certain point.
And we always talk about mentorship on this platform.
Right.
And when you have working with an older person, that is an opportunity for you to be mentored by that person and learn what they know, for you to be able to take over effectively while adding your own approach to things.
The thing, one of the challenges, like I speak to my friends, they're saying that the people think that they are less adaptable. They're set in their ways. So with the new changes and what's happening, they're not able to adapt. And I'm saying, but give us a chance to adapt. Give us a chance to prove that we can do it. But you're not given that chance, because you're saying, oh, you're from the old school. So that's another term, old school. And so things are different, and we're now moving on in a different way. And so you will not be able to adapt and change and meet those requirements.
And this is why I say to my older brothers and sisters, keep up, take courses, upgrade yourself, stay abreast of what's happening, find your niche. And so if your thing, you don't have to know everything about computers, but if you're in accounting, know how to use Excel. If you're into advertising, whatever, know how social media works, how social media marketing works. You have to keep up. So the onus too, part of the responsibility, a large part of the responsibility is in our friends over 40. They cannot expect that after 40, you're entitled to it. So that's
I find that we rely heavily on book knowledge. When the new norm in the workplace is not necessarily so much the theory of things, if that's the correct
right.
Yes, you have a master's or whatever, but you still need to be able to go with the flow, as they say, and adjust to what is happening in society. And it's not even society. We are now living in a global society because of the internet and social media.
Good morning, Doreen. Thanks for joining us.
So we have to, no problem. So we have to be like-minded like that, and that's one of the challenges that we as older folks face. I'm not saying we're going to socialize with everybody, but we still need to be able to interact at some level.
Yep. You need to at least know the basic language, what they're saying. So, Anyway, moving on. Another challenge that we face as in terms of ageism is the how the media represents us. You know,
Yeah.
when you look at the media, there's an underrepresentation of older women in media and in advertising. It's as if, like we were saying earlier, we
Yeah.
have disappeared. You know, we have disappeared. So even
Yeah.
on social media, I mean, I see a lot of YouTube channels now promoting and encouraging people over 40 to start YouTube channels. And that's a good thing. You know, at least on YouTube, you see a lot of older people with their channels, not so much on Facebook, you know, unless it's a business. But generally speaking, not just social media, there is a glaring underrepresentation of older
Yeah.
women in particular. Women in particular, you will see men, but women in particular, you don't see us a lot on social media
Represented. That's correct. Yeah.
represented.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another challenge, I don't know if you have any, another challenge that I have on my list is the personal and societal social pressure that we come under.
Yeah.
We were talking about that a while ago, about feeling as if we have to conform to some totally unrealistic standards of beauty and relevance. My ass
Yeah.
is flat. My ass is flat. And as I age, it's getting flatter and flatter and flatter. I am not going to get a BBL. You know, my
Why not?
daughters,
Why not?
my daughter sometimes nag me. So at least do some squats,
Mm,
maybe. But I am exercise averse.
I know.
That's me. I am exercise averse. I am not Clara Brown, our director, who does our exercise stuff. But
Yes.
there is this pressure for us to conform to a certain standard of beauty, you know, like this. For example, my eyebrows, I have my regular eyebrows. I am not painting on an eyebrow to fit in. I am not doing it. Not doing it.
Oh boy.
I
I
don't know.
mean, I think as I've always said, I think we just need to be ourselves. Be yourself, but be confident in who you are. Be confident in being you.
As is your presentation for
Yes. Be
tomorrow. Yeah.
confident in being you. Be yourself. So yes, some people want to do the eyebrows. That's fine. Some people want to do the BBL. They want to do the tummy. You know, some people want to do things, and that's fine. If that's what you want, if that's you, that's fine. No judgment here. If that's you, that's fine. Because some people want to do it. I don't know, professional, like if you're in media where you're like on television, or it depends. It depends on what your role is and how you want to portray yourself. It's a
Mhm.
personal choice, because some women feel and it's a society. You feel as if, well, you have to do this to keep up, to make to still have a job. Some women
Yeah.
have to do things to compete in the
Good
in their
afternoon,
in their
Gabriel. Let's
to
say hi
compete.
to Gabriel.
Hi,
He's watching
Gabrielle.
us from Nigeria. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for everything that you do for the Daughters of Sheba Foundation, Gabriel. Okay,
So
sorry about that, girl. I
to
just had to
compete in their
acknowledge you.
field, yeah, man. To compete in their field, some women feel the need to do that. You
Yeah, well,
know,
nobody's making me do
so,
anything that I don't want to do, and you know that,
and
and I
a point I have is that and it ties in with that, is it's the psychological effect it has on us. That's the issue. It has a major psychological effect, and we have to recognize that. And for some people, we're better able to cope than others.
can I ask you something as you say
Mm-hmm.
that, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to couch it in the correct social media language so that this video. Do you feel that, not you personally, but that
Yeah.
when we get to this age and all the things that we have been talking about, the pressure, the workplace discrimination, and so forth, that sometimes we just want to say "F this" and get out of here?
I do. Personally, I do.
I've been there.
Sometimes I feel like, I think if there was like a commune or a little island where I could just go with my friends and just exit, I would just go. I'm tired of trying to prove to anybody, or to try and fit in. And I don't want to fit in. and but people expect you to try and fit in, and I just, it's not worth the effort or the work. I don't think it is, or the,
Mm-hmm.
because some people get really stressed about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think it's unfair, to be honest. It's unfair because you've given your all, and you expect to be appreciated, but you're not.
You're not. You're not.
And that covers the whole thing:
It
family,
does. It does.
work, everything. It covers a whole.
It covers the last point that I have in terms
Mm,
of challenges. Healthcare, and you mentioned it earlier. There's
mm,
so much disparity in healthcare. There's disparity in healthcare as women, generally speaking.
yeah.
There's disparity in healthcare as Black women, especially in
Mm,
North America, generally speaking. But then
mm,
there's, again, here's a trika. There's an additional disparity because as older women, we face certain challenges in healthcare when
mhm.
our healthcare concerns are dismissed as, oh, you just I get whole. You know, it's no, it's not because I'm getting old, or even if
Yeah,
it's because I'm getting old, why are you ignoring what I'm saying to you?
yeah,
Why?
yeah, 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 yeah. And I was actually talking to a friend in London just yesterday about the same thing, where, I think she has a issue with her shoulder or something, and
Mhm.
it was brushed aside, brushed aside, brushed aside until the pain is now excruciating, and they have no choice but to address it, because they're just saying, oh, it's just a normal
Arthritis.
aches and pains. That's it. And no, it's a big thing, because if it was addressed early, and so now it's blown up into a major thing, because of course it was brushed aside quite, you know,
Oh dear.
casually.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so those are the we've defined what is ageism as being discrimination based solely on our ages, and ageism goes with, it's an equal opportunity thing for the most part,
Yeah.
with prejudice and discrimination because of your age.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about that's the definition of ageism. We looked at some of the stereotypes about being older person, that you're less competent, that you have to take anti-aging steps, and then we looked at some of the challenges: the workplace discrimination, the lack of representation in the media, and the societal pressure to conform to unrealistic beauty standards, and the healthcare disparity. So those are all of the problems. How do we combat it? Which
Correct.
is which is the meat and potato of our conversation this morning, which is ending soon. We're here for an hour, and thank you for joining us. My name is Claudette Esтерine Campbell, and I am the chairperson and president of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation. And with me is
Gloria, treasurer of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation. Thank you for joining us. Thank
And
you.
so we are talking this morning about, now we're turning to, okay, we know what the problems are. How do we combat
Mm-hmm.
some
Mm-hmm.
strategies to combat ageism?
Yeah.
And you want to start us off with this, Gloria? What do
Yeah.
you
So,
have?
so we've touched a bit on it earlier. One of my main suggestions is that we keep ourselves as current as possible, which we've touched on it a little bit. It's not just enough to have the book knowledge, the theory. We need to make sure that we are as current as possible, not only in our profession, but in society, in our social interactions as much as possible too. As Claude and I said, we do a lot of online learning between us, all three of us, I think, and it's just, you can find everything now online. I find
Mhm.
that personally,
No,
if
you
I don't know
can.
anything, the first thing I do is switch on to YouTube. How do I
Yep.
fix the washing machine? How do I fix I do that, and I also do a lot of online learning with regards to the new AI. I've been doing lots of courses on AI. Um, a lot of things about what will the future look like, how am I going to fit in to the new norm. And so I've been doing a lot of that, because I realize that I have to, if I'm going to get on with life, just not only the workplace but life in general. If we're going to get on with life in general, we have to know where technology is going, and how do I fit into it, and how do I play my part in it. Because we're now in the technological age. There's no
Yeah.
way around it. We can't hide from it. We do online banking. We do a lot of things
Everything is
online. Pay
online.
our bills online. Your card has now a chip. Your card is chipped. Your passport is chipped. So you have to know it's life skills that we now have to learn to keep
For the
ourselves
first
right.
time 2 days ago, I held cash in years.
Right.
Everything is
Right.
online.
Correct. So
And
it's
and
not.
and to add to what you just said, it was down on my list, but since you have gone there, um,
Mhm.
basically you're saying that we have to embrace lifelong learning,
Yeah.
to combat the stereotypes that older women can't keep up with the change.
Yeah.
We have to
Yeah.
continually learn new skills, as you are
Mm-hmm.
saying, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
technological or professional skills.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
have to rescale or upscale, as they say, by staying current with the latest trends, as you're saying,
Yeah.
tools, AI, is,
Yeah.
is 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 a big thing now that can
Mm-hmm.
help you combat the perception that we're
Yeah.
out of touch.
Correct.
Because that's the last thing you want to be seen
Correct.
as.
Yeah.
People raise their eyebrows sometimes when I open my mouth and talk about the things that I know when it comes to AI, for example, because
Mm.
I'm studying that bitch.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, yeah, I
We are
know
both
you
on the
are. I
same
know
boat.
you are. Because it's the way of the future. At first, I was scared of it. I remember when years ago, this would have been maybe about 25 years ago,
Mm.
my then partner, mother, had an issue with computer and all this, and everything computer. And I remember back then, 25 years ago, saying it's the way of the future. And I had my first computer was, I don't know if you remember them, was this big ass thing. It was deep and wide as a room. And the
Yeah.
screen was orange, not orange, the screen was black, and you had these orange
And we had the
type.
big tower thing.
Yes, yes. And I was glued to that thing every minute
Mm.
of the day because I knew. I just had the sense, and it's the same way now. I have the sense that AI is the way of the future. You
Well,
know, um,
it's not in the sense no, it is.
it
It
is the future.
is.
We are living in the future.
Yeah, we are.
So if you
And we're being forced into it. So it's either going to get left behind, which we, Lord is the sheep, but we will not be left behind.
no,
It's either
we
left
won't.
behind or you're going to be walking the walk with them. And that's what we will be doing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So that's one of
Mhm.
the strategies to combat
Yeah.
ageism. Embrace lifelong learning, keep
Mhm.
learning. The one
Yeah.
that I would offer, I thought this is where you would go, as this is your conversation tomorrow as well on our new Lift Carry Sister series. Is to embrace self-confidence.
Yeah.
Own your worth. Own your worth as women over 40. Own
Yeah.
your worth, own your experience, own your skills, and
Yeah.
confidently position yourself as valuable, both
Yeah.
in your personal or professional setting. Do not let anybody undervalue you. Do
Mm-hmm.
not let anybody say that what you know is useless. No, it's not.
Yeah.
And if you are embracing lifelong learning, adding to what you already know, you are the powerhouse that you are naturally.
Yeah.
And reframe aging, shift the narrative, move it
Mm.
away from aging as a negative to
Yeah.
celebrating the
Yeah.
wisdom, your
Yeah.
experience, and your freedom. Because I am telling you, being over 40, being over 50, approaching 60 like as I am, oh my God, the freedom to do
It
what
is.
you want to do, the freedom to
And
shower
things
if
that
you
you
don't want to
like.
shower, the freedom to eat what you want to eat, the freedom to fart if you want to fart. It's just pure joy. I remember years ago, Maya Angelou, I don't know if it was in an interview with Oprah, but Maya Angelou was in an interview and she was talking about the joys of being 70 years old. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, this friggin' old woman. I mean, I might have been 30 or whatever then. Now approaching 60, several months away from 60.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the freedom of
I
this
know.
of this age. It is beyond explanation. So that's one of the ways I have for suggestion to embrace, to
And, and I
combat
think that
ageism.
is we need to we ourselves as a group, yes, but we ourselves as well need to promote the value of being an older person
What do you mean
ourselves
by the value?
individually. Um, attend, like, you have different activities, like you have different activities with younger groups, or volunteer groups, or mentorship groups, or
Mhm.
but get involved and show your value to these people, because they don't know. They really don't know. When we were 20, somebody at 60 was like, what, you're old. Show your value to others. Let them turn to you. Let them know that, yeah, I can help. you know I have younger couples who I step in, they call me, or they say, Auntie Gloria, what how do we deal with this? Give, don't just sit back and be quiet. Don't be silent. In other words,
Isn't that what our moms did?
be silent.
Yeah, they sat, not my mother, but most mothers, they sat back.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
morning, Tasha Lee. How are you? Thanks for joining us. did,
Yeah.
did,
Don't
did
just
did
don't
you
just
have that?
fade
Did you see
away.
your mom doing that? Just
I think
sitting back?
so. I'm thinking about it. I do think so. I think so. I do think so. I
Yeah.
so. And
They didn't want to rock the
when she
boat.
retired, that was it. She was nothing more.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
so it leads to my other suggestion. So we're now on point 3
Mm-hmm.
of how to combat ageism. Advocate for yourself. And it relates to yours, Gloria. You
Yeah.
need to know your rights.
Mm-hmm.
Stay, at least, especially in North America and in Europe, you need to know your rights and stay informed about age discrimination laws, especially in the workplace. If you feel that
Mm-hmm.
you're being discriminated against in the workplace based on your age, gender, whatever, but we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
age this morning, do
Mm-hmm.
something about it.
Yeah.
Push back against
Yeah.
the bias.
Yeah.
Challenge the stereotypes by confronting, not
Yeah.
necessarily in a aggressive way, but
No.
assertively confronting ageist comments that are made to you
Mm-hmm.
or actions when they arise, again, especially in the workplace.
Yeah.
So this is an
And that comes
example
back
of
to
you saying
your
not sitting back and taking
not
it. Don't
mm,
take it dry. Do not
no,
take it dry. Don't let
no,
them do it to you.
no. Don't just fade in the background. No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah.
Show that
Um,
show that you know your worth, you know your value.
you do.
You still have a contribution to make,
You
and
do.
no. Let's
Somebody, Rashida is saying document. I'm going to assume that she, I'm assuming that you're a woman, and that's a dangerous thing to do. But I think what she's saying is that document whatever in the workplace, document
yes,
the
yes,
injustice or the comments or whatever
yes,
when they happen to you in the workplace.
yes,
And
yes.
again, you mentioned this in a different kind of way. Another way to combat ageism is to leverage your network, build a
Mm,
supportive community, which is what
yeah,
you mentioned. Build a supportive community of women, like on this platform. Join in and build a
hmm,
supportive community of women who can advocate for one another in your
right.
workplace, in healthcare, or on social environments. Like here
Mm-hmm.
on this platform, we do women's empowerment night and day. And then we have some MF trolls who come onto our platform, mainly men. There are a few women who will come with their attitude. I block and delete them as fast as I see them. I'm not going to allow it. I am not
We
going
only
to
want
allow.
positive energy here, nothing negative.
Exactly. We're not. Oh, so Rashida is confirming that she meant yes, to document
Yes.
when something happens.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let anybody shut you up. You know
Yeah.
your experience.
Mm-hmm.
Stand up for and speak up and document, as Rashida is saying.
Yeah.
And we mentioned this earlier too. A part of leveraging your network is mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
Older women can serve as mentors for younger women. We can
Yes.
offer guidance. We can challenge this youth bias narrative by sharing our knowledge and skills. Do not see us as canceled or try to cancel us. Do not see us as competition. See us as comrades.
Yeah.
We need to pass on the knowledge that we have. Do not let the knowledge that and wisdom that we have quote unquote die with us. Learn it, expand on it, but get it from us.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, most
Do you have
definitely.
any
I mean,
other way?
I don't think they realize that the knowledge and wisdom that we have, that we can impart to them, will put them in a better standing in
Let
their
me
present.
give you an example of that. The same job that I was telling you about 4 years ago, where they paid me 25% less than I was worth. And I remember when I first started, the chat around the organization was about the way I speak and the way I write, and they would say, oh, and then they would call me mama. And I was like, what the fuck you calling me mama? I'm not your damn mother. But anyway, I was just trying to be whatever. And they would call me mama, they would call me auntie. And this is after talking behind my back about the way I speak and the way I write, until they realize the responses that I would get from my corporate clients who I was dealing with. Finally, these corporate clients was dealing with somebody who actually knew office protocol, who understand how corporate world works, who could actually communicate in writing in proper English and not acronyms. And then all of these little motherfuckers would be coming to me with their emails for me to read it, and until it got to a point where it became abusive, where they couldn't send even a damn text message without asking me to read it. And I was being overwhelmed. And I said, no, the story goes on. I had to start saying no to people, or I didn't have time to do it now. And it got me in trouble. I was hauled into the boardroom, that I was not a team player. What the? And that's the other side of it. I mean, you want to mentor, you want to help, you want to pass on your knowledge, but don't suck me dry.
Yeah.
Don't suck the person. So you have to know your boundaries as well, and be able to speak up for yourself.
Yeah.
That was a real life experience that did happen not so long ago.
Well, can you run a seminar for us on? That's what was unfair. They could have said, in order to
exactly
a team player.
There you go.
But I'm not here to do your job. You're not paying me for that.
Exactly.
But if I can run a 1 hour seminar in the mornings or whatever, we can do a little teamwork on language or
because I was in an organization where I was the eldest person there. Everybody else was 35 and under, and most of them they never worked in corporate world before, much less worked at my level, at the government, the prime ministerial level. I know how to talk with heads of states because I was doing that for a living, and if they had said to me, like you're saying, can you run an afternoon lunchtime workshop and teach these ladies how to do this? Perfect. It will become part of my job description and all of that. But no, they don't want to do that. They don't want to acknowledge that you have this expertise that they don't have. They would rather sit there and criticize you and call you a granny, a mama. And on top of it, I was one of 3 Black women in this almost 50 people organization, and the boss was, sorry to say, a white lady who was our age, and they if you allow it, you would be taken advantage of.
Abuse.
Huh?
That was abuse.
It was abuse. It was. I left after almost 2 years. And that is the other. But we will get to that. That is the beauty of getting to our age, where you realize, no. I'm not taking this. This is a great timeless subject. Forgive me. Thank you for being with us, Rashida. I'm glad that you found some value in the conversation. We're wrapping up here shortly. Anyway, we don't stay much longer than an hour. So
we can always revisit the topics as we go along, depending on how.
Oh, absolutely. I have one last thing in terms of combating, and this would be the 5th strategy to combat ageism. We need to get the conversation changed, and that's what we are doing this morning. We need to call for better media representation of older women. We're not only calling for it, we're actually doing it. So this is why we here at the Daughters of Sheba Foundation, we kind of shifted our focus a bit. We used to just say that we're for women empowerment, but now we're very specific. We are for women empowerment for women over 40. Right? So we are the senior citizens platform.
And that's fine.
We are the old woman platform. We are the modern woman over 40 platform.
That's
so
fine.
we're not just calling for better media representation of older women. We're actually doing it because why? Visibility matters. You know, diverse, empowering portrayals of older women. I know Clara, who has just joined us, the other director of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation. I know you're just 29, although you have a son who's 22. But God works in mysterious ways, His wonders to unfold. You are the miracle, Clara, that you're the second coming of Mary. But we are calling and doing better media representation for older women and Clara. Because as I was saying, visibility matters.
And the topics can transcend all ages as well. Because, of course, you know, ageism is one thing, but there's also sexism. And sometimes they interlock with each other.
Right,
so
they intersect.
A topic that may appeal to older audience, it also can transcend to the younger parts of our group as well, because the topics will overlap all the time. Will always overlap. So, you know, but yeah, that's fine. Our niche is there, and
as we're wrapping up this morning, so just to cover our what we discussed this morning for the latecomers like Clara, we just we're looking at the key strategies and the importance of combating ageism, you know, and some of the key strategies that we're talking about, we talked about a lot, just naming a few, was to embrace self-confidence and push back against the stereotypes that we're outdated, we're ready to be canceled, we should just go sit in a corner and DIE, you know, screw that. Build and maintain a supportive network, including mentorship. Be a mentor, and you know, actually, you can have a mentor as an older woman. If you don't know how to do social media, if you don't know how to do AI and all of that, get a younger person who knows to be your mentor. You're not too old to have a mentor, you know. So it works both ways. You teach them how to the English language, so the English language doesn't die completely, because it's going to die eventually, but as it doesn't die completely. So switch, you know, that person help you, you help them. So build a mentorship relationship with that person, a two-way. And another key strategy that we discussed was how to prioritize lifelong learning so that you can stay relevant in a professional environment.
Professional, but in just life in general speaking, just
absolutely
life changing. Nothing is as it was 5 years ago.
No, it's changing so quickly, Gloria. It is changing so quickly. And as I said, we're wrapping up here. How do we combat ageism? Why do we need to combat ageism? Because it benefits. Hold on, let me see what Clara she's saying. The only dance I never learned at my ripe age of 29 plus is to sit quietly in the corner. Good for you. So the as we are wrapping up here this morning, combating ageism benefits all women, not just women over 40, but it benefits all women because as Gloria just said, it intersects. Being a woman intersects with being a woman over a certain age, intersects with being a woman of color, it intersects being a mother, because you know mother get beat down in the workplace because they have to miss work quite a bit to do daycare and so forth. So combating discrimination period of women helps all women, and it breaks down those harmful stereotypes, and it ensures that our contribution, no matter our age, that they're respected and that they're valued. You know, by addressing this issue now, right now, in this moment, we help to create a society where aging is embraced. We
Yes.
stop canceling older people, and women are truly empowered. You cannot just talk about women's empowerment. You have to be women's empowerment. And if you're going to be women's empowerment, we have that will help the community as a whole to thrive well into
Yes.
their later years. And just as a reminder, before I shut up and ask you to wrap us up, Gloria, is I just want to remind those under 30s right now, one day you're going to be over 40. One day you're going to be over 50. The only way you're not going to get there is, as I said earlier, if you
Yeah.
exit this world one way or the other, willingly, unwillingly,
Or-
naturally, unnaturally, in an accident, by the SUI situation, that's the only way you're going to escape aging. So, young women, if you have joined the party of canceling grayback women, as you guys in Jamaica love to call women of a certain age, if you have joined that party, I would leave that party. Or as Clara says, she doesn't do that dance of sitting in a corner. You go sit your asses down in a corner and stop canceling older women, because not only are we your mothers, your grandmothers, we are your teachers, we are your font of wisdom. You can, as I was saying in that thing, I speak perfect English. I don't emphasize my H's. I know where to pause. I know how to communicate at the highest level of government. I've done it professionally. Don't criticize me. Don't look at the fact that my teeth is crooked and I refuse to get braces. Find out what you can learn from Claudette. Gloria was a banker in a past life. Reach out to Gloria and find out from Gloria, how can I better manage my money? Instead of canceling us, reach out to Clara and find out from Clara. Clara, Miss Brown, if you don't want to call her Miss Brown, call her Miss 29 plus. How do I get into the insurance business? Clara is a leading insurance executive. Reach out to us and find out, Miss Clara, how can I get into the insurance business? Instead of calling us bougie and all of the nasty names that you like to call older women. Those are my 2 cents, my 25 cents, and my $1 on this topic. Gloria, take us out.
Okay, well, first of all, I like being bougie. I have the self-confidence. I believe in being me, and I believe in portraying and embracing who I am. So no one's going to tell me, as Clara said, and put me in a corner. I'm going to be stepping out there and being very vocal, physically and orally, in who I am. So that's fine. I think, society, if they continue this trend, what will happen is that the wealth of knowledge and the life skills and experiences that we have will be lost to society.
Yep. And men too. Let's just add that.
It's going to go with us. It's going to go with us. They don't acknowledge the fact that we are and still can make a huge contribution to society and to the younger population, of course. It's for us also to make them aware of that. To be very vocal and make the focus be where it needs to be, not on the physical all the time, but also on the mental, because we have a lot to give and we have a lot to offer. And of course, Daughters of Sheba is all about that. Getting our voice out, voice is heard, and being relevant all the time.
And we're not going to come here with the bangarang. We're not going to come here with the drama. That's not what we do, because that's not what cultured women over 40 do.
And we're all about empowerment and educating.
Yes. Not entertaining with drama.
No, and educating. That's what we're about. Thank you.
You always emphasize that. Thank you so much, Gloria. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Doreen, I am glad that this conversation sets the pace for a discussion that you're about to have in 10 minutes. Where did Gloria go? Now you're more motivated. You said, I am glad that we were able to assist you with that. So as we leave you this morning, I just want to remind you to join all of next week. We'll be here a lot. Tomorrow, Gloria will be leading a discussion on self-confidence as a woman over 40. Some of you are still lacking it. On Tuesday, we'll be having a very special guest. We'll be talking about financial planning, something along those lines, and why the old norms no longer work for us, even as women over 40. And on Thursday, I'll be having a conversation about SCX with Terrain Brown, about whether it's still worth it once you get to 40. And then you can join us on Saturday, next Saturday, for a special Saturday morning live with a special guest, Adhana, who is going to help us retrieve our succulents. So we're here all week, a lot, live this week. So be sure to subscribe and follow us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if that's where you're watching, and or follow us on Facebook. Gloria, thank you so much for being with me this morning, and look forward to seeing you throughout the rest of the week. All right.